My name is Eric Welander. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Abode security system, and is it the ultimate security system for HomeKit and your smart home? So DIY security systems have been around for a while. They allow you to buy different bits and pieces from the manufacturer that you want for your specific setup, and then maybe pay for monitoring, but there's no contracts and you set up the system yourself. You're not, getting into some agreement with some big company that's going to set it all up for you. But why would you want these kinds of systems to integrate with your smart home? Well, smart home automation is all about finding these predictable triggers, like a door opening with a sensor that picks that up, or a motion sensor, or whatever, picking up these events and then doing something about them, like turning on lights or unlocking a door. And you can see how that could fit nicely with a security system, where when you arm away, you arm home. These are predictable events that then, when shared with your smart home, you can do all kinds of automation and other things with them. So Abode is one of the few vendors at this point that officially integrates with HomeKit, as well as, of course, Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, IFTTT. They even integrate with Sonos, which is really great. Although I've had a few issues with that integration right now. But so if you're interested in getting into Abode, you gotta get one of their starter kits. Now they have two different starter kits, the Smart Security Kit and the IOTA Security Kit. Now there are a bunch of differences between the two, and I'll link to a specific article on Abode's website detailing all of that. But basically the cliff notes are that the IOTA Security Kit can connect to your network via Wi-Fi. It also has a built-in camera and motion sensor. The Smart Security Kit hub does not, although you do get a separate motion sensor with that one. Now, Abode sent me the IOTA Security Kit to review. It is my unbiased opinion, but they did send me the kit for free. So setup was pretty straightforward. You do, with the IOTA, have to connect via Ethernet to set it up. Before then, you can connect the system via Wi-Fi. And then, the hub, like a lot of security systems, plays sounds every time like a door opens or other stuff. And I didn't want that. So you can go into settings and disable that, which of course I did right away. Now, the IOTA system has a battery backup of up to 6 hours. So in a loss of power, you can still keep your security system running until the power is restored. And then it also has 4G backup. So if your internet goes down and the 4G network is still there, then it can use that to communicate with Abode's monitoring system, provided you pay for the pro level plan with Abode. And we'll talk about the details of that later. And of course, if the power's out, the internet's out, and 4G is out, you probably have a pretty big problem. One of the other accessories that comes with both kits is this little key fob, and I never really find it very useful. I mean, I think this kind of comes with a lot of different security systems, but this one, the buttons aren't very clear on it. So, it doesn't have a clear sort of like arm home, arm away, or, instructional buttons, or these weird symbols that you kind of have to figure out. And so I've just really never used the key fob, but it is there if you are into that sort of thing. Now, system modes, let's talk about what those are. So standby mode is the default, and that means that your sensors are available to HomeKit or whatever else for automations. I mean, that's true in basically any of these modes, but then nothing's armed. So opening and closing doors or motion is not going to trip the security system to go off. Now, away mode by default will arm the doors and windows. So if those open, it triggers the system, as well as motion sensors, interior motion sensors will trigger the system. Now, home mode is the same as away, except for it doesn't worry about the motion inside the home, of course, because you would be home in that case. So it's just if doors or window sensors are opened, that triggers it. Now, you can customize in the Abode settings which motion sensors are used to trigger the system in either home or away mode. And so that's really handy for someone like myself. I don't want the motion sensors inside my home to trigger because I have cats that might do that while I'm away. So I don't have that part enabled, but I still like having a separate away mode to use in HomeKit for different automations. Now, if you're familiar with HomeKit security modes, there's also a night mode in HomeKit, and that just equates to home in the Abode. So in my good night shortcut, I via HomeKit set my Abode every night to arm night mode, and then that just arms the Abode in home mode. But you can already see with just these simple modes how you can also do other automations. Like if you arm away, I can turn off my basement lights, because why would I want my basement lights on if I'm leaving the house? They're not visible from the street. So just make sure I'm not wasting any energy if I happen to leave any lights on down in the basement. So one of the sensors you get with either kit is the door sensor. Now, I'm just going to go out there and say I think these are the best HomeKit door sensors period right now. They're very small. They have no branding on them. They're just, generic white squares. I have white doors at home, so they fit in just great. And then, you just put them on the door with sticky pads. There's a small part and a large part. And one of the cool things about these door sensors is that they can work with up to a 3/4 inch gap. So depending on what, molding or whatever else you have around the door frame, it can be a lot easier to get these to actually register as closed and open compared to some other door sensors. Now, they also work on Abode's 433 megahertz wireless frequency, which increases their range from the base station, and it also reduces the chance of interference with something compared to something like a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi door sensor. Now, they are battery powered, and Abode rates the battery of up to 4 years inside of there, which then you can replace. And of course, like the motion sensors as well, these door sensors are exposed to HomeKit. So you can do any number of automations with HomeKit with these door sensors, whether or not you're arming or disarming your security system. Now, the Abode IOTA base station has both a motion sensor and a camera on it. Now, I'm not crazy about this camera. The image quality isn't that great, but it's good enough. It does expose to HomeKit a live view that has a timestamp on it, which some people kind of like, whatever. But like out of the box, it doesn't by default start recording clips when it detects motion. You have to set up one of these automations in the Abode app to get that to happen. It's not hard to do, but it doesn't really seem to work like a lot of what you would think from a lot of HomeKit cameras. So I really wouldn't consider this to be a great indoor camera. You really consider the IOTA system if you're looking to have the Wi-Fi connectivity in your home as opposed to Ethernet to the base station. Of course, if all you're looking for is the occasional live view through the camera when your system's armed away, that can be nice to have, and this totally works fine for that. So HomeKit's a great app to manage a lot of stuff in your smart home, but something like a security system, there are all kinds of extra settings and special things, and it really is nice to have a separate app for that. Now, Abode in the end of May 2020 made a big app update. So it's a complete redesign, UI refresh of their app, and it looks great, puts a lot of these quick actions, access to those on the main home screen, as well as your alarm modes. I really like this thing that they've had for a while now, which is just the timeline view. So it just simply shows the events of doors opening, closing, cameras triggering, arming, away or home. All that stuff is detailed in the timeline view, which is just a nice quick way to see what's going on with your security system at any given time. And of course, related to that camera thing I was talking about, you can set up quick actions, or what they call queue automations. Now, a lot of this you might just want to dive into HomeKit, but specifically controlling the camera is something you can do in here. So you can have quick actions on the home screen of the app where you can just tap a square and then it will cause something to happen, like the camera to take a picture. But you can also, say turn the camera on or off. So when maybe you only want the camera turned on if it's inside your home when you're armed away mode. Back to the other camera example I had, if your motion sensor on the IOTA detects something, you want to quickly record a video, you can set that up as an automation. I don't have tons of time to dive in and show you how to set that up, but It works well. I've tried it. I recommend you check it out if you're looking for tweaking, how all of this camera and some of the details of your system works. But again, at a certain point for controlling things like lights, and other stuff in your smart home, you probably want to just use HomeKit automations based off of the armed and disarmed state of your security system in HomeKit, because that's, it just allows you to take that much further. So another feature of the Abode app is Auto Home Away. So if all the phones that are registered with your Abode account, so that phones that have the app installed and have background location tracking on, and are signed into your account, if all of those leave the home, then it can automatically arm the system away. And then, if one of those returns, it automatically disarms. Now, I'm an app developer. I, have worked with the background location tracking APIs and stuff in the past. Personally, I wouldn't trust that for a circumstance of if this doesn't work, you have a 93 decibel alarm sounding in your home when you arrive home. So, I'm a little scared to try it out, but of course, when you arrive home, you can always disarm via any other means if it didn't work with the background location. That said, I have a friend, Jonathan, who lives in the area, and he's been using Auto Home Away. He was mentioning that at first there were a few bugs with the app, but they've seemed to have fixed those bugs with Auto Home and Away, and so he's able to use that in his household just fine with multiple people and having the home arm and disarm automatically, and he says it's working great. So something you might want to consider. Again, I haven't tested that per se, but yeah. Just give it a shot if it's something you're into. Now, Abode offers a huge number of accessories on their website for all kinds of different use cases, and I don't have time, obviously, to get into all of them, and I haven't tried all of them, but one that I did purchase myself is the Keypad 2. So this is a nice keypad that then gives you, some physical button controls to arm and disarm your system in the different states. You can also assign it up to 40 different PIN codes for different users, and then in the timeline view it'll show you so-and-so arm the system via the keypad, so which user it is based on the code at the keypad. It mounts to the wall and then has a magnetic, with a magnetic plate that then you can just remove the keypad when you need to and then charge it. Abode rates the battery life of the keypad of up to 6 months. And one of the cool features you might like if you're into HomeKit like myself is that it has a built-in motion sensor, with a 90-degree range of pickup up to 3 meters. So pretty standard motion sensor in there, which then you can use in HomeKit to trigger any kind of automations. I've been playing with some ways based on where my keypad is that when I walk down the stairs in the morning, it can trigger different, light automations. I don't have anything I'm completely happy with yet, but that can maybe give you some ideas of ways you might be able to use this keypad for some automations in your home, even that have nothing to do with the actual arming and disarming of your system. Now, as I've kind of hinted at, one of the big potential downsides, depending on how you look at it with Abode, is that you gotta pay them a monthly fee to get this thing to work. You're not locked into any kind of contract, but you do have to pay a monthly fee. So, this does, for the standard plan, cost $6 per month and $60 per year. And that gives you, all the home automations and up to 7-day history of recordings of videos and timeline events and stuff. And then there's a Pro plan, which is $20 a month or $200 a year. There's an introductory first year pricing for the Pro plan of $100, which is, I think, a great deal. It's what I've gone with for the first year. We'll see, but that includes 24/7 monitoring, cell connection for your base station, and it's of the grade that you can get discounts on your homeowner's insurance potentially, by having a security system at that level. And so it's nice to have that plus something that works with HomeKit. If you have the standard plan, and maybe you're just going out of the country once, you can pay for either $8 for 72 hours or $15 for a week of on-demand 24/7 monitoring, so you can get those services for a limited period of time if that's all the time period that you're interested in. One of the downsides is This monitoring is only available in the US, and it looks like Canada has some similar plans as well. So I haven't seen any signs yet of plans for this in Europe or the rest of the world. So keep an eye out in your area. But that brings me to my next question of, is this the right security system for you? I think if you're in the US and you like HomeKit, you're watching this channel and automation like that, and you want a real deal, security system that has, backup power and backup cellular modems and monitoring and, stuff that'll like actually be a real security system, and you want the HomeKit automation, I think this is a really compelling choice. It's what I'm going with to secure my home. And Abode they haven't paid me any money, and they cannot pay me to say that. At the same time, if you don't live in the US, it might not be as good of an option. I'm gonna be covering some other security systems on this channel that have some different features that might fit you better than this. But I think, if you're in a similar situation to me, it could be a really nice option for you. So give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really does help other people find this video and the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already to see more videos around HomeKit, smart home tech, and all kinds of other stuff about Apple and automation in the future. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.